in bulk. You can replace your older, inefficient furnace and air conditioner as a pair and save $1,867.
That's a lot of pork and beans.
We're not passing off refurbs or scratch and dents.
These systems are factory fresh, fully warranted, and currently sitting in our warehouse.
But not for long.
Because they will sell out.
Save at least $1,867 on a complete comfort system from Jansen's Heating and Air. Call 562-5201.
JansensHeating.com.
I'm suddenly very hungry.
Pork and beans?
How'd you know?
Lucky guess.
Your information station, WTIM.
You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show with Pana civic, business, and nonprofit leaders coming to you from our Taylorville studios. The WTIM Pana Morning Show is brought to you by our title sponsor and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, along with Landmark of Taylorville, Pizza Man, Noren's Hardware, Your Pana Save-A-Lot, and Locked and Loaded Limited. Joining me this morning by phone is Katie Horstmeyer. She is a registered dietitian at Pana Community Hospital. First and foremost, Katie, how are you this morning?
Hi, thank you so much for having me on today. I'm doing well.
Well, I am doing well, and I am glad to have you on today and talking about a pertinent topic as always. And when you think about it, we're just past the halfway mark in January, or a little bit past that, I should say, but people have been thinking about diets, especially in that new year. And so this, I think, will be an excellent way to start the show. My first question for you, though, Katie, is what is your role at Pana Community Hospital? And I know I mentioned that title, but could you explain a little bit behind your role at Pana Community Hospital?
Absolutely. I am a registered dietitian and owner of Advanced Nutrition Care. We partnered with Pana Community Hospital in 2023, but with a previous company, I have had the privilege of working with Pana for the past 6 years. And it's not just myself. We have a group. So Pana also has a dietitian named Jamie Gillette that also sees patients there. So it's a great partnership.
Well, sure. And could you tell me a little bit more about, you said Advanced Nutritional Care. It's a partnership between you and Pana Community Hospital. How did you come to form that, and maybe what got that started for you?
Yeah, so I worked for a consulting company before that unfortunately had to shut their doors. So it just opened a door for me to start a consulting company myself. So Advanced Nutrition Care hit the ground running in 2023, and we partner with a lot of different facilities.
Okay, so Pana Community Hospital is just one of those. And so now you've been in Pana now for the last 6 years. Were you a native to this area, or is this an area that you came to?
It's an area that I came to. Jamie Gillette, though, is local to that area. She graduated from Pana High, so okay. She's right there in that neck of the woods.
Well, very cool. Well, I was wondering then, could you give us an idea about some of the nutritional services that are offered through Advanced Nutrition Care and through Pana Community Hospital in that partnership?
Sure. One of the most common ones is, outpatient services. So you can get a referral and come in and meet with myself or Jamie and work on your diet goals for your comorbidities, your chronic diseases. That's probably what people are most familiar with, having an appointment and coming to see the registered dietitian. We also provide inpatient services as well, though. So Pana has an excellent swing bed program. So these are patients that have been in the hospital for quite some time and are not quite ready to go home. So this is kind of a bridge program where they can get extra rehab, maybe additional IV antibiotics for quite some time. And there's usually a nutritional component with these patients as well. They have maybe had a stroke and can no longer eat the same consistency foods that they used to eat.
Sure.
Maybe they have new diagnosis of heart failure. So diet is more crucial. Focusing on what they're eating is more crucial than it used to be before. They've had fractures or something, so they can no longer cook and prepare foods the way that they used to. So we help the inpatient side of things as well for those dietary concerns. And then we dabble a little bit in food service, which is always fun. unfortunately, healthy foods don't sell. So when it comes to the cafe side of things, that's probably the hardest area for us is the cafeteria menu because we don't want sales in the cafeteria to plummet. But we also want to serve the patients and the community and the staff there healthy foods. So, we do Wellness Wednesday. So we offer healthy foods on Wednesday, or a little more healthy focused, I guess, on Wednesday.
And how did, sorry, I apologize.
No, you're fine. We, get involved in the food service sanitation inspections, and services to staff, things like that as well. So we get to dabble in a lot there at Pana.
Well, yeah, and that probably keeps you very busy. And I'm sure that, you mentioned the comorbidities and you mentioned some of the diseases that you would want a more effective diet or a diet that's more tailored to you as an individual. And so my question for you is, what are some of those most common dietary concerns that you see on that inpatient side?
Sure. We provide care for a lot of different comorbidities, but I would say, the most common are the biggest that, the Americans face: diabetes, obesity, overweight, those heart issues, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. We get a couple of food allergies, food sensitivities, but, the big ones are the ones that a majority of Americans suffer with.
Well, and I was going to say, I believe the last I knew, it was roughly 50% of Americans are considered at least overweight. That I don't want to, maybe obese even. Do you know roughly what that number is, and maybe a more tailored number to the Pana community?
I can't specifically say to Pana, but absolutely 6 out of 10 per CDC, 6 out of 10 have at least one more comorbidity. And these are things that are related to poor quality of eating patterns and physical inactivity. So definitely lifestyle changes that we could focus on. But yeah, about 50%, which is tragic.
Yeah, that's a very high number. And you think about it and it's almost hard to believe a little bit, but at the same time, that you mentioned that physical inactivity that does go hand in hand with the diet. Are there some things that you also recommend when it comes to non-dietary things? Are there some things like light exercise, or maybe how do you get those folks moving and pairing that with a new diet?
Absolutely. It takes, a little bit of both. We've got to take this whole wellness approach. So, not just your diet, but also your movement, also your sleep, your stress, it's all encompassing. We can't just focus on one thing if we want to improve our health. So we definitely stick with the guidelines of at least 100 minutes a week, which, a lot of people don't get. And then, of course, above and beyond that is great as well.
Absolutely.
Working with a professional, we might encourage people to go see a physical therapist or even a personal trainer at the wellness center there. If they don't have those skills or that knowledge background to work out safely, there's avenues that they can get guidance there as well.
Absolutely. So we're talking individualized approaches per person and how we can help you. It's often that dietary recommendations are pretty broad, but they have to be in order, for it to apply to the public as a whole. My question to you is, how do you tailor a nutritional plan to that specific individual?
Sure. So we're all uniquely different. You and I know this.
Mm-hmm.
So an individualized approach is crucial. We all come from different backgrounds, cultural preferences. We have different comorbidities, chronic diseases. So the first thing when you meet with a registered dietitian, so myself or Jamie at Pana, we will do a comprehensive assessment. So we will go through all of those medical conditions, your cultural preferences, and honestly, your goals, because my goal may not be your goal. So we want it to be specifically tailored to your goals. And then we'll discuss, your specific nutrients that you require at your height, your weight, your age, your sex. And that varies from person to person. So the amount of calories, proteins, fats that your body needs is specific to you.
And being able to have that specific approach, it makes all the difference. And in terms of this interview right now. We have breezed through this first 10 minutes, Katie, so thank you so much. We have more to talk about when we return with Katie Horstmeyer, registered dietitian at Pana Community Hospital. Today's morning show brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, People's Bank and Trust, as well as Pizza Man, Noren's Hardware, your Pana Save-A-Lot, and Locked and Loaded Limited. We'll return for the second segment here of the WTIM Pana Morning Show in just one moment.
Your information station, WTIM.
This is Nick Epley with People's Bank and Trust, where customers have one business banker who understands their business and provides the right financial services to achieve their financial goals. Your business banker is your single source for all your financial needs, from cash management to lines of credit, from mortgages to equipment loans, and everything in between. Call me at 888-PBT-1954. Bank with People's Bank and Trust so you can spend your time running your business, not explaining it. At People's Bank and Trust, we put people first. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Attention hunters and gun owners, you must get to Locked and Loaded Sportsman Paradise in Pana. Take the short drive and shop Central Illinois' premier gun shop. Come see the huge inventory of firearms, ammo, hunting supplies, and accessories. In stock now, custom designed Locked and Loaded t-shirts and headgear. Brush up on your shooting skills at the indoor range featuring 7 shooting lanes. If it has to do with firearms or hunting, you'll find it at Locked and Loaded on Route 16 East in Pana. Locked and Loaded, open 6 days a week. Like them on Facebook.
I have a dream of lower prices when you shop the area's low price leader, Pana Save-A-Lot. This is Tim and Eric here with this week's deals. USDA Choice Bottom Round Roast, $4.28 a pound. Boneless pork sirloin chops, $1.99 a pound. Whole chicken fryers, $1.38 a pound. Iceberg salad mix, only $1.29. Pork spare ribs, $1.99 a pound. 3-pound bags of assorted Michigan apples, only $2.79. And USDA Choice Sirloin Tip Roast, $4.99 a pound. These prices are good through Tuesday, January 21st at your locally owned Pana Save-A-Lot. Hope to see you soon.
The new year will be better, right? Yes, the new year will be better, and you will sleep better in the new year when you get to Just Beds during the store-wide New Year's mattress sale. Bemco, Sealy Posturepedic, Arctic Breeze, Max Life, and Spring Air, all on sale. Things keep getting better. No more sleepless nights this year. As always, free delivery, setup, and haul away. You will sleep better this year. Just see the Yawn Exterminators at Just Beds on Montvale Drive in Springfield.
Just Beds.
If you're 40 and over, you'll recognize these artists by their first names. Frank, Dean, Sammy, Andy, Nat, Diana, Michael. Well, here's the big news. You can now hear Central Illinois' largest music library with over 3,500 songs on air and online at 965thechill.com. Tune in on the FM dial in Christian County and on your computer or smartphone. Hear these great artists and many more 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 965thechill.com.
Matt Corso here, proud to now be a part of the Kaufman Realty and Auction team right here in Taylorville. Let my over 20 years of real estate and auction experience work for you. Click my icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
WTIM AM, FM, and online on the WTIM mobile app and Amazon Alexa is your ag information station. With over 8 hours a day of agriculture programming and our own local farm broadcaster, tune into WTIM, your ag information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
And we're back with the WTIM Pana Morning Show with Pana civic, business, and other nonprofit leaders coming to you from our Taylorville studios. The WTIM Pana Morning Show is brought to you by title sponsors and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, along with Pizza Man, Noren's Hardware, your Pana Save-A-Lot, and Locked and Loaded Limited. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman, and our guest in this segment is Katie Horstmeyer. She is a registered dietitian at Pana Community Hospital and owner of Advanced Nutrition Care. Katie, I know we've got plenty to talk about, but I'd like to start with some of those points that you sent me. And I would love to know if you could just explain a little bit more about the role between nutrition and managing those chronic diseases. You mentioned the risk factors and all types of other things. If we could just kind of double down on that and why that's so important.
Sure. I think everybody could agree that nutrition with managing chronic diseases, it's kind of just how we tip the ball down the road and get everybody to jump on board with it is where it becomes difficult. I think it's easy to agree that if we change our diet, that we can control risk factors, we can reduce complications, we can improve our overall health with some of these chronic diseases. But A lot of times it's the how and the why to motivate people to actually stick to those lifestyle changes.
And that kind of dovetails into my next question for you. How do you provide that support? How do you provide that encouragement to stick to that diet and maybe those exercise changes in their routine?
Sure. So like the outpatient appointments that I mentioned earlier, we provide one-on-one counseling to patients that come into the office to see us. When someone walks in to see me, the first thing I say is this is a partnership. This cannot be a one and done situation. We have to work together because, you're not just going to change overnight, especially habits you've done for 40, 50 years or more. So, it's important that we closely work with our clients, and over again. So, and I tell everyone you need a dietitian in your back pocket because, the fad diet, the social media, the misinformation, it's all over the place. And so you need to have that expert to be able to go to and ask these questions. And research changes too. And dietitians, we have to do continuing education. So we have to stay up on the latest research. So as items change, we can, teach our patients and our clients about this new research and new things. So when it comes to navigating the muddy waters of nutrition, we try to work with our patients closely and, help them with any of their diet concerns.
And getting it from a knowledgeable source, I think that is a very important key to all of this when you really think about it, because we mentioned the social media. Yes, there is plenty out there, and you can think of those Atkins diets or whatever else, not to out any fad diet or anything like that, but you see them come up in crops and then all of a sudden they go away and then a new crop of them come in. And it's just hard to sit there and say, well, what would work for me? And being able to have that individual approach that you provide is something that makes that big difference. And so my thing there for you is you're supporting your patients, you're keeping them on track. And you mentioned it too. This is not going to be an overnight change. This is a long haul thing. And sometimes the process of keeping somebody in for the long haul can be difficult, I am sure. What and how do you work? We mentioned it with Pana Community Hospital and the partnership there. How does that work though between you at Advanced Nutrition Care and with Pana Community Hospital? What's the background to that?
As far as Advanced Nutrition Care comes into Pana Hospital once or twice a week. We get referrals from physicians to see outpatients. I had already talked about, the inpatient portion of things that we cover as well. It's definitely a collaboration with healthcare providers. We require their referrals. So, as you see your primary care, they might mention, or you yourself might mention that you would like to see a dietitian to work on better eating, healthy lifestyle changes. So, we work with all of the providers there at Pana.
Absolutely. And then they send them down the right avenue. And then once you can get your hands on them and really explain, hey, this is why we need to make those changes. You mentioned having that dietitian in your back pocket, and that is a big resource. Well, my question to you, and we've got about 2 minutes here before we wrap things up, or just a little under. And what would be some of those recommendations, or what advice would you maybe give to the listeners out there about making dietary changes, maybe exercise changes in those routines that they've established for 40, 50 years?
Sure. We can't do everything instantly and overnight. So I typically like to start with 1 or 2 achievable goals. So, when we do that comprehensive evaluation, we kind of find some of those areas that people struggle with. Social media right now throws protein at everybody. Honestly, research shows us that protein is not the issue. A majority of people are hitting their protein goals. So maybe we don't need to focus on protein if most of America is hitting their protein goals. That's not what's causing 6 of 10 of us to have comorbidities. So, maybe it's fiber. Maybe you're not hitting your fiber goal. So starting small, simple with one goal, and making progress towards that goal. A lot of diets, say you can't have this, you can't have that. And so people get focused on the negative and, I can't have this, I can't eat that, what can I eat? So, we try to encourage people to add things. We need to add fiber. We need to add polyunsaturated fats. We need to add things to your diet. I don't want to take things away. I want to add these healthy, nutritious foods.
Yeah.
So, just starting small with one goal, kind of finding what each individualized person needs and then moving forward with that goal and sticking to it.
And that goes back to that tailored approach. Well, Katie, we are out of time. Again, this has been Katie Horstmeyer, registered dietitian at Pana Community Hospital. Thank you so much for joining us on the WTIM Pana Morning Show. And thanks to our sponsors in People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville.
Your information station, WTIM.
I'm Rich Thomason. Following the inauguration, President Trump got down to business right away, signing roughly 200 executive orders and actions. He's issued pardons for those who got caught up in the chaos at the U.S. Capitol 4 years ago. Mr. Trump pulling America out of the Paris Climate Accords, out of the World Health Organization. He's also trashing federal DEI programs. Mr. Trump unleashing domestic energy production, and he has declared a national emergency aimed at securing the southern border. In a vote that was unanimous, the Senate has confirmed former Senator Marco Rubio as America's new Secretary of State. They're already shivering along the Gulf Coast. It is far from over. Parts of the region bracing for a winter storm. It's expected to bring snow and sleet, along with even cold